Hey, let's talk about the funk. Let's get right into it. Remembering that to build the groove, you have hits on 1 and 3, bass, snare, bass, snare, right? Well, the beats 1 and 3 are what anchor the funk. And remembering that in your bass line, you're playing the 1, the 5, the flat 7, and the 1 again. And this is how we build the funk. And then on top, you have the blues scale. So those are your basics, and I've essentially followed them in this project I'm going to show you here. If you look on the screen, you see that I've got my mouse moving around, and I wanted to discuss some really interesting possibilities with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can build a groove out of only samples, only voice samples. And I'm going to include an MP3 on this. I'm going to post an MP3 on this for you. But this groove is built entirely with vocal samples. And I'm going to talk about how we're going to do that. Right now. First of all, I'm using Contact, the Contact sampler. And I find the Contact sampler by going down to the instrument candy bar, holding down all the way down to AU Instruments, and then going over to Native Instruments, Contact, Native Instruments, Contact 5, in your case, stereo. Again, I go all the way down to AU Instruments, and then select Native Instruments, Contact 4, and then the stereo setting. And that will bring up the Contact sampler, which if I just have this Contact window opening, I'm going to have a blank window over here. And all I have to do now, in order to make an instrument from my voice, is I just need a little recording of my voice, which I have over here. I just recorded it into Logic. You notice it says SKAT funk file. All I have to do, if you see my mouse over here, all I have to do is drag this audio file over into this black window, and boom, this immediately this sampler instrument shows up. Right? So if I drag this audio file over into this window within Contact 5, then immediately it makes an instrument out of my voice. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Right now, I've clicked on the wrench in Contact. I click on the wrench, and that shows me this audio file, which is just simply me going do ga do ga, right? So that's me scatting that to you now. And if I press the key down, it plays that sample back for me. Right? Now, the thing about this is now on my keyboard, and as I play it, it plays it back. Right? Now, check this out. Here's the mapping editor. You'll notice that this thing has been spread all over the keyboard. It's been spread lower and spread higher. So this now is all across the keyboard, and if I play it low, it'll be slower. And if I play it high, it will be faster. Higher still. So again, here it is at the original speed. Here it is a little bit faster. Here it is a lot faster. So I can create grooves based on this groove. I can play the note infinite possibilities, and all it is me going do ga, dragging it into the Contact sampler, and the sampler then spreads it out across the keyboard. You can do this with vocals when you can sing a regular note, you can sing a bass note, you can sing SKAT drums. But again, the sampler takes it, and there it is, just playing my groove back at normal speed. But it's also spread it all the way up and down the keyboard. So you can build grooves based on a groove that you're triggering from your keyboard. All right, so that's that sample. Then on another track now, I have a bass sample. I open this up, and again, I recorded my voice. I just went dum dum, and I took that and I dragged it over here found it on the file browser on my desktop or within my Logic file. I recorded it into Logic. It put it into the audio files folder in Logic. And then now I just drag it from that over into this contact window. I press the wrench, and as you see, there is the vocal sample. I'm just going dum dum. So it takes my voice and spreads it all across the keyboard. Another thing I've done now, I want this to raise the pitch but not change the speed of the sample. So I go down here, and instead of saying DFD, which means direct from disk, I switch it to tone machine in this window here. And when I do that, it means that the sample will always last the same amount of time, even though the pitch is changing. So then I can then take this my voice and turn my voice into the bass keyboard instrument. And I put some phasing and other effects on that. But that is the bass line. When you hear this groove, you hear that I've used the vocal drum kit and the vocal bass to build this groove. Nice. And then the other lines you see on top are just processed vocals that I put on the top. So you can have a lot of fun building scat funk just by singing into your computer, dragging it into the contact window and letting it spread your sample across the keyboard. And you can have a lot of fun building your funk song completely from your own voice. Again, the entire first section of this song, until I play piano at the end, is all vocal samples and all vocal parts. All right, well, have a good time with that, and I will be back on Thursday. All right, take care.